Hi guys, it's Paul here from Nirvana Central again. Back with another video. Sorry it's been a little while since my last full video. Just been off on holiday the last couple of weeks, so it's the first chance I've had to publish some new content aside from a couple of little shorts I put up earlier. So today, after a few requests from people, we're going to be looking at the three most popular amps associated with Nirvana that fans need to know about. This is a particularly good video for any guitar players out there who are Nirvana fans who want to recreate that authentic sound that the band had, because obviously the amps you use play a big part in that. So as I say, thanks to the people who have suggested this. I think after my videos on the three most famous distortion pedals associated with the band, which is on the channel if you want to check that one out, and also the video I did about the most famous guitars associated with Kurt, which is also on the channel, so check that out if you get a chance. People seem to like this sort of stuff, so yeah, I thought I'd do one about the most iconic amps the band used as asked for. So let's crack on with it. Okay, so amp number one, and I might actually just run through at the top actually which ones we're going to talk about. That might be actually a good idea. So it's going to be the Mesa Boogie Studio preamp, so that's amp number one. Amp number two is a Fender Bassman. Then amp number three is the Fender Twin Reverb. So number one, the Mesa Boogie Studio preamp. So this is quite a famous brand in terms of guitar amps anyway. A lot of famous bands and musicians and guitar players like the Mesa Boogie stuff. Generally because it's just quality gear, it's robust, especially for gigs and going out on the road. It sounds great, which is always obviously a major plus. And also it's pretty loud. The Mesa Boogie stuff are one of the louder amps out there, which, especially for rock bands, obviously is quite a big plus. But this Mesa Boogie Studio preamp was something that Kurt used a lot, especially live. Certainly probably around the Nevermind era, probably running into In Utero, I would think. He tended to pair this preamp with a Crest or Crown power amp and then run it all through some Marshall 4x12 cabs. That would be how he would set it up, but it was this preamp, I guess, that was the most sort of eye-catching part of the whole setup, if you like. I think Kurt liked it, especially live primarily, because this is a preamp that's got quite a high headroom on the clean tone or the clean channel, and then that helped him then have the headroom then for pushing his Boss DS1 or DS2 distortion pedal through, just to really get that sort of really punchy sort of raw sound, and also to have that impact when he put his pedals on that they'd really have that just that loud dynamic feel. So that's the first pedal. Okay, so pedal number two, as we spoke about a little bit ago, is the Fender Bassman. So Fender, again, another iconic brand, especially when it comes to amps. Again, another brand that is used by a lot of top bands and top guitar players. Nirvana were no exception. Interestingly, although it's called a Bassman, and obviously, you know, it can be used by bass players. I'm sure Chris probably plugged into it at some point, although I don't know as much about what amps he used. Being a guitar player myself, I've always gravitated to the gear that Kurt used. But they are a good amp to run a guitar through. You know, they sound great. They've got that nice Fender tone to them. Interestingly, this probably wasn't used live by Kurt as much, the Bassman. This was one that is well known to have been used in the studio, especially around Nevermind, around that period as well. Maybe in Utro as well. I know Butch Vig was a big fan of this amp, which is why it got used a lot during the recording of Nevermind, especially for tracking the rhythm guitars, and again for tracking the clean guitars. He used to like it for putting down the clean guitar sections on songs. Good examples of where this would have been used, tracks like Drain You or Teen Spirit. And yeah, it's just a pretty easy amp to use, and it just sounds great, really. And I think if you're wanting to get that Nevermind sound, this is a good amp to go for. Okay guys, so amp number 3 that's most famously associated with Nirvana is the Fender Twin Reverb. So anybody who's into guitars or knows about guitar amps will know this particular amplifier. It's one of the most famous guitar amps around, really, the Fender Twin. Again, you know, go back through rock history, it's been used by a lot of different bands and different guitar players. It's been around for a long time, and it's just a great amp. Again, it's loud, it's got a really nice tone to it. The EQ on it is nice, it's pretty responsive. And just one that I know, especially more so in the early days, maybe that Kurt used to like to use. So again, if it's more that early Bleach sound you're trying to get as a guitar player, then this Fender Twin Reverb is a good option for that. Especially again, if you have got a Boss DS1, which was more the sound of Nirvana in the early days. If you put that through Twin Reverb, and you'll be getting pretty close to that sound. Again, I think with this one, it was used pretty extensively in the studio and also used live. Certainly think it was there when they recorded Bleach, as I say. It's good for the clean tones and the crunchy tones when they were needed, obviously, for then going into the distortion when they had that running in the songs as well. And it was just, before Kurt sort of shifted onto the Mesa Boogie preamp into the Crown Power Amp and the Marshall cabs, this was his go-to choice in terms of guitar amp, I think. Okay guys, so that's about it. I'll wrap it up for now. It's not going to be a mega long video. It's more one that, say, a few people had asked for after the video I did about the pedals and the guitars. So it's just a nice one now if you are trying to pick up the sort of kit that Kurt and the band use, then you've got a pretty good idea now if you look at all three together. The only other amp actually I've not mentioned that is it's a really good amp actually. It's not as well known an amp, but it's a brilliant one again for getting the early sound. I know it's probably the first amp that Kurt used when the band was formed, before we got more money together and could afford things like Fender Twins. It's the Randall Commander, I think the 120 watt version. So again, very powerful amp, very loud, great for that heavy grunge sound that obviously Bleach had. And interestingly, again, although you don't hear it mentioned a lot, I'm as people know watching the channel, I'm a pretty big Weezer fan as well. I'm pretty sure Rivers Cuomo used a Randall Commander early on in Weezer. So it's an amp that does show up a little bit in some quite iconic bands. So not as famous as like Marshall or Fender, but really good amp, robust, loud, good sound. So again, that's one you could pick up as well. But we'll leave it at that for now. Hope you're all right. Please remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any content, and also give me a like or drop a comment if this video has been enjoyable for you. See you later.